Praise the Lord, my dear friends. We are on the 14th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And today in the Gospel, we see Jesus asking us to learn from Him. What should we learn from Him? He says that He is humble and gentle in spirit. So normally we say humility and gentleness are two qualities that we need to learn from Jesus, as mentioned in this passage. Is that all? In the first reading taken from the book of Zechariah, we see a reference to Jesus when it says about a king who was willing to come on a donkey. However, let us look at this verse once again a little deeper. He says, "Come to me, all who are tired and weary, I will give you rest." He says, "Come to me." Here we see the hospitality of Jesus. In Mark chapter 6 verse 31, we see Jesus asking the disciples to come away with Him to a lonely place for rest. And then it is said, so many people were coming and going that they did not even have time to eat. So busy was Jesus that He did not even have time to eat. And yet, He is asking people to come to Him. So here we see a person who is willing to give time to anyone who is in need in spite of being very, very busy. And that is why we see Jesus being willing to spend time with Nicodemus in the evening. The whole day Jesus might have been busy in the ministry, and yet when Nicodemus came in the evening or in the night, Jesus was willing to spend time with him. Are we willing to spend time with people who really need our presence or our help, even when we have a lot of other things to do? And secondly, Jesus says, those who are tired and weary to come to Him. We know if people, those who are tired and weary come, we'll have to spend a lot more energy and time than we normally spend with people who are not tired and weary. So it's not an easy task. So we see Jesus opting for something that is not easy. Jesus did not say those people to go to His disciples. Instead, He told them to go to Him. Do we have a tendency to push away difficult tasks to others and to look for easy ones for ourselves? We do not see Jesus that way. Instead, He opted for the difficult one. And see, when people, those who are tired and weary come, as I said, we have to spend a lot of time listening to them. And listening itself is a great ministry. Listening brings a lot of healing to the person who shares. And Jesus was willing to do that. And the willingness of Jesus to spend time with the people, those who are tired and weary, can be noticed in His concern He showed to the Samaritan woman. He was willing to give individual attention to her, to bring her back to her real identity as a child of God. So that willingness to spend a little extra time with people who are really in need, those who are tired and weary, is the second quality that we see in Jesus. And thirdly, look at what Jesus says. He says, "Come to me, all who are tired and weary." Here, He doesn't say people from Jerusalem come, or all the people who have been keeping the commandments of God perfectly come. No, He says, all who are tired and weary. We see Jesus as a person totally impartial. Sometimes when we are willing to help people, do we choose to help them based on their social or economic status? Do we choose to help people from whom we expect to get something in return? When we see Jesus, we see that He didn't have any such partialities. That's why we see Him with the poor and the rich, with the sinners and tax collectors, as well as with lawyers and Pharisees. We see Him with all kinds of people because He was open to everyone who needed Him. And lastly, He says, "Come to me, I will give you rest." Here we see Jesus was very clear about what He was capable of giving to people who came to Him. Sometimes when we look into ourselves, are we clear what we are capable of giving to others? All of us will have certain areas where we are really strong, certain talent, certain abilities. Are we willing to focus on those talents and abilities to improve and perfect ourselves so that we will be useful to those people who will come to us seeking our help? In John chapter 10 verse 10, Jesus says, I have come that they may have life and life in abundance. He was very clear what he wanted to give to others, and then he focused on that and he literally gave it. And he did it to the extent of shedding his own blood. Let us also look into ourselves and see what we are willing to give to others when they come to us. And then if we are not able to find anything immediately, don't be worried. We can see which area we are really strong or interested. Spend time in learning or developing those qualities that we may be more useful to people who come to us in the future. And when we focus on these qualities that we mentioned, we may have to die to our own desire to spend a little time all by ourselves, to watch a movie or to go for a little entertainment. Not that those things are not important, we need all that. But when we really try to be like Jesus, we may have to die to ourselves, our desires, our own will, so that we can be more alive to the Spirit who is working in us. And that is why St. Paul, in the second reading from the letter to the Romans, says, you are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit. And in fact, the Spirit of God dwells in you. So dear friends, let's make sure that the Spirit of God who dwells in us may also guide us and help us to be more and more like Jesus, being very hospitable, willing to spend our time for others, and secondly, opting for difficult tasks. Thirdly, to be absolutely impartial in our dealing with others. And fourthly, to be able to focus on our strength and to grow and perfect ourselves so that we can be more and more useful to everyone who come in contact with us. May God bless each one of us.